Hi, I'm Jesse Adcock, and you can vote for me because I'm a leap of faith. I've never had a real job. I just write things, but you can still vote for me. Probably because I'm not an ass. Probably because I'm not an elephant. Probably because those things I've written, besides a couple of books you've probably never read, were mostly for the Washington Post and Reader as a freelance journalist, contributing more things you probably never read from places you probably never heard of. I have no family. My parents are dead, and my brother moved away, disappearing from my life forever. So why am I running? Because it's morally irresponsible not to. I mean, look at things. I've covered politics because it paid. That's why people are in politics, because it pays. Large bulbous parties in a symbiotic relationship with stolen interest groups, which would be fine if they stuck to the private sector. But it's American politics and there's money in everything. Which means it's never for you, it's always for them. Under the surface, it's profit. Behind closed doors, it's profit. American politics is a wonderful business. So that's why I'm running. Because I used to be like you. Too disgusted to care, too busy laughing at politicians on TV, trying to relate to the average American when they go home from those rallies that they were just speaking at in a Benz back to their 4-story estate. And because they're getting away with it, putting new pretty faces on old broken ideas. Because I'm not interested in me, I'm not interested in them, I'm interested in you. And most of all, I'm interested in education. I'm interested in a system only interested in teaching to a test that alienates most good teachers and keeps the bad keeping the status quo. Over half of U.S. teachers graduate in the bottom 1/3 of the class. That would be the first problem. In our culture, lawyers and doctors are those gods that we pray to, those jobs that we steam press into the dreams of our children. Teaching should be right up there with them. Teaching should be a vaunted and sought after position. To teach our youth, we are the creative capital of the world. We are the last chance the world has because we have the most freedoms. And we don't need windbags people to decide, I might teach with my life. To be teaching those kids. We need to be inspired, and we need higher standards for those who inspire us. The second problem is classes, mainly the variation. Now, look deep into your soul. If I asked you, did you want to come to school today? What were you looking forward to? Was it going home? How can we change that? Do we come like the South Koreans and their immaculate test scores? No, because they off themselves all the time. No, what we need is a broader variety of classes, not just a handful of electives, more vocational classes, outlets for creative energy rather than just blandly calling it art and giving a kid a paintbrush and some cheap paint in a vague attempt to make him happy. Now, in addition to strengthening core classes, we need classes to focus on the abstract and on the individual for our nation's youth, allowing students to build a reason of their own to come to school. Maybe to learn the complexities of the human soul and why society evolved as a slave to morality, or perhaps you just want to explore alternatives to traditional eating utensils. And you may be laughing, but you know who's laughing back? The guy who invented the spork. We need classes that would help reveal life to budding man and woman pups like yourselves, not choke you to death with hundreds of verb conjugations that I guarantee you'll forget next summer. School should be a place to discuss your dreams, your experiences, and your feelings, and channel that into a desire to learn and better yourself in a concept or an application, not a place to tread zombie-like and trite. And unfortunately, we need SOLs. We need standards by which to judge a student. But you know what we don't need? The answer is an A, B, C, or D. Teaching a student to an arbitrary test structured around 60 or so pointless questions to decide whether or not a student passes the course. Because AP students, because honor students, because test takers, you have off days. One day does not decide whether or not you know a course. Kale, on what day did the Civil War end?
I don't know.
Well, according to the SOLs, you now know nothing about the Civil War, and that's going to reflect bad on your teacher and you.
That's disappointing.
Yes. Yeah. Because of our lockstep method of testing is outdated and useless at this point, use more to shirk responsibility away from administrators and policymakers and onto the broken backs of our already stressed teachers. Now I propose a portfolio method where knowledge can be communicated on a broad and inclusive conceptual basis. Where in younger years, through exercises that focus on more than just how to take tests, and for older students in high school, a more open way to display knowledge, using whatever medium the student favors. Because no student is equal, and we know that we cannot be judged by a test that happened to take place on the day that your parents announced their divorce, or when you got extraordinarily lucky at guessing between 4 letters. And how do I propose to pay for this instructional utopia? Well, first, I'd like to hop on the bandwagon and legalize marijuana and tax it around 20%, but throw a couple more billion into the educational system. Next, I'd like to stop throwing money into court cases that mean nothing. A national database should be created and stop suits from small claims being filed by one person more than 3 times for the same kind of case, because the people abuse the system and waste billions of American taxpayer dollars. Lastly, the military. Vietnam taught us that having the most soldiers does not constitute a victory. This is even more reality in today's nuclear age. A large military means nothing. Our $500 billion defense budget means quite a bit, however, and I would work towards scaling that back at least 20% over the next 20 years. I would advocate a flat tax for everyone based on income, which means everyone would pay a certain percentage on their income with no cap. And for those who'd like to hide their assets in places like the Cayman Islands, I would advocate very long stays in prison. And for personal freedoms, I'm for as many of those as I can grab for United States people. Among those would be the right to marry, the right to die. Abortion should be left up to the woman. Anyways, you can vote for me because I feel like I'm something a little bit different. You can vote for me because I would never just lock up the government to make my way and stop talking. Because I won't treat politics like a high school lunch table. Or you could vote for them and enjoy the lingering taste of that 6% approval rating. Anyways, if you want to contact me, you can contact my secretary, or my campaign manager, or the director of my ad council. Anyways, I'm Jesse Adcock. Take a leap towards something different.